I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is June 26th, Thursday, 2025. I hope you had a good day today. So, as we talked yesterday, that I said the 15 and the 30 year were coming deeper in retracements, which is not saying it's not over yet, but and then the 5 year would be, I mentioned it coming down to like this area here. Yeah, 5 year, yeah, 5 year, and then or from here. I mentioned that, and that's exactly what we did, which we already did that, right? So what would be next? A new higher high. We have an objective to get to this, obviously all-time highs, but we have a gap here. So, and that's exactly what we did. So beautiful, kept it simple. And it was just such a beautiful day. I love to see these days, dude. Love it. So for example, made the video here, right? So we were already up here, but then we decided to keep going, right? I kept buying and made a new high. And then we just had a dump and pump. Very simple. I love these days. I wish every day was like this, to be honest. But, and then up here, we get the dump and the pump, and very simple. Pretty much wiping out some liquidity here. See on a 15-minute more refined, and then boom, came up to, look at the body sitting there on that daily. Again, that's that daily from, I'm going to make this video short. This is a video I can make short, including the gap there. This is obviously February 24th, right? I'm sorry, 21st. All right, so let's hop into it real quick. I mean, dude, right to the target of that gap, and notice how we're selling off from it right now. But the more importance is that we reached right to it, 50%. I mean, you buyers and sellers didn't do that, bro. Look at this beautifulness. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I'm looking at something here because I was in the trade, baby. All right, so beautiful, beautiful, moving down. All right, so let's jump into it real quick. So real simple. Yeah, man, you had a push up here. Let me squinch up the 15-minute. You had a push up here. All right, we made a new high. All right, so kind of like 4 drives right there, right? Made a new high here, another drive, another drive, another drive, right? So, and then I'm measuring the last, you can see it on the 1 minute right here, right? You can see, so that's a high, and then that's a low. That's a new high, and that's a break. So I'm measuring that. Where did it go? 2 to 2.5. Beautiful. Now, I mentioned this yesterday in the video. That's why you got to pay attention. I said, yesterday we sealed the opening range gap, but we made that low first right here, down here. Remember, tapping first. And in a really bullish situation, they won't seal it, right? And if you did 50% of this opening range, the 25% here, and the low of it, you'll see that it's kind of sitting there. But notice how it didn't tag the opening day gap. That was very obvious yesterday. And then today they missed it, but that's what I meant. And in a very bullish scenario. So, and sure enough, look at the bodies. Look at the 3 Indians right here, 3 candles, all bullish. Look at the gaps completely staying empty, 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 empty. Up to here they tag it, right? So that understanding, we had a dump and pump, just beautiful. Retracement to the 2.5, and you had the first imbalance right here, which was the 936. You can see us tagging it here, bodies respecting, making rushing for the liquidity. Look to the left. Forget the projection. Look here with the 15-minute right here. What do you see here? This is all balanced. Look balanced up right there. There's even a gap right there. Even a gap. Look at that gap. See that gap? Boom. Oh yeah, what a coincidence. Last down candle right there, and just gorgeous. And then what do you see here? Obviously, you see gap, you see imbalance, you see breakout level. Can't get it better than that. And that's what they were hunting, right? Just a beautiful day, man. Keeping it very simple, and hopefully this is that big sell-off that I'm looking for. We'll see of the seasonality, because I'm in the trade right now, actually. I got in right here. Not the greatest entry, but so let me get into that for a second. Might not work out, but we'll see. It was a nice trade. So we'll see here. Okay, break, lower high. All this is just sitting in a 5-minute. By the way, I didn't mark that. I should have for you because I know it, but where am I? Here. I should have marked it. So here we're initially stuck in that imbalance. Look at that, baby. Nice. Where are you? Should have did this before I made the video. I know. All right, so and then again, the 5-minute is very strong. So let me just change this a little bit darker. Man, now it's starting to look like the same color as this. All right, well, that's always a daily gap, the today's gap. And then here you'll see us using that. So 930 is already inside it, is what I'm trying to say. And then, you know, you get some drives down. 1, 2, 3, 4 after that one, right? Because this is the one that broke it, right? And I mentioned this yesterday. So after the break, you're looking for two to four drives is like the general sweet spot. Sometimes it's 6 or 7. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2, right? But it's just a simple logic. And then you'll see that we tap in right there with this imbalance. I didn't draw that. I'm not drawing all that. 930. And then let me go back to a 1 minute. I know 1 minute's a little choppy, but let me go back to this here. So yeah, pretty much look at the body sitting there, respecting it beautifully. 930, playing around, and then boom, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. It looks like a speaker, but and then up candles respecting, and then shoots down, right? Again, that was the, oh, did I mention besides the gap and the little breakout imbalances right here, you also have liquidity right there, right? That's a breakout level. Look how they bounce almost on top of that high. So very easy. I mean, dude, you know, and that's why they're hunting it. But and then what do we have here measured? Oh, did I? All right, so then here I got measured. I didn't do this yesterday, but I measured this down candle plus the swing high right there. All right, and then we got a 1 and 1.5 here, which we were sitting at pretty much at 930. And then we got a 2 to 2.5 right here. And then I measured. Well, obviously, you know, I measured this here down, and then measuring this up here is that swing right here, from that high to that low is that range, and then you can see over here, that's 1 and 1.5 here, and then 2 to 2.5 up there, which is, let me kind of squinch it up a little bit. And then, ooh, nice target, right? So very simple. I mean, there's nothing else I can really, there's not much to say here. Even on the 5-minute, you'll see that this bodies are respecting, plus that's the midnight level right there, right? So, and then just when you see this, you know, that's a very big sign of momentum and strength. And look at the divergence right here, and just beautiful, bro. Getting into this guy right here, tapping it very so slightly, and because you got to include the gap, and it tapped in. Let me draw it for you. That's how I wanted to make this short, which I know I can, but right there. Oh, I picked the wrong guy. Here. Now, when you see the gap, let me just do this for, excuse me. And you see how we tap in that. Anyways, and then, you know, coming right up, boom. Look at the high of the daily gap. Boom. Where does it go? A little speaker comes up 930. I tell you all the time, people are making their decisions based off it at 930. Oh, and if I was to drag this out, that's that 5-minute. You can see pretty much right there respecting. But yeah, and in that 1 and 1.5, you get the pullback, and then higher high, higher low, all the way up. First imbalance right here. Oh, I'm sorry, of the PM session. That's why I wanted to take out that trade right there, actually. What am I doing? So you're telling me it came all the way down. Well, we got into that gap up there, right? You can see we missed it up at the 50% on purpose. They come back down with some drives and they push up to the 50%. Then they hit it and sell off with an imbalance. But look at that right there. I made that way too long. Take too long. But that cannot be buyers and sellers or be a coincidence. I mean, for sure. So very clear, right? And now we're here. So in general speaking, we're obviously been bullish, not making things hard for ourselves. And then dollar did come down with the gas. Boy, that's ugly. You know, I was thinking that maybe they would have pulled a rug like this and then started pushing up. But it looks like we're going to be going in the seasonality of October. So we're going to be riding up all the way until at least, hold on, let me look at something here for a second. I mean, at least, I'd like to say September. And then September should be a nice sell-off. But what was I trying to show you? Something like this. Last time we've seen something like this. Well, I'm not going to go into this. It's just dollar. Look at this shit. Where was I trying to? I'm in 1985. Hold on a second. Trying to remember. It was kind of like. It's kind of like this. Here. We're just going for another drive down, most likely. But we're pretty up there, though. And they're sinking. But anyways, and then what was I going to say here? All right, it's a nice divergence work here. Very smooth. You got lower lows here with Nas. Beautiful at the 950. By the way, that's 950 also in the picture with the macro and the timing right there. Man, look at that. That's just beautiful right there. 950, 951, 952. Boom. That's not a coincidence either, obviously. And then divergence there, easy buy. We're already bullish. We had our target above. I mentioned all this yesterday. Now, yes, I gave you examples of it really selling off, but Asia and London didn't do that, right? What did Asia and London do? We already pushed up. We already made a new high. So the conversation of that down, that first coming down is over with. Now we're up here. I mean, you know, so we've already got order flow and flow. I mean, you know, so the dump and pump is very obvious. But yeah. So let me see here. So yeah, divergence there. Nice one right here. Higher lows with Dow, lower lows with S&P and Nas, man. And, you know, continuing to push up. And then we had a nice little sell there. And then what's going on here? I haven't been by the chart. All made new highs. And here's a little divergence right there, right? See that? You see this? See how Dow makes a high and a high? High and a high? Dow and S&P, I said. Yeah, and then Nas has a lower high right there. That's the reason why I pulled that trigger. I just saw it and I was like, yeah, this looks kind of cool. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It's in profit, but if it comes up, I'm not going to get stopped out, right? In a negative. So I know how to mitigate the risk. And I'm looking to see if this is going to shoot down. Why? Because I know I just got done telling you about the seasonal data that says that in these last 5 days, starting from the 25th, that we should be kind of pulling back down for that sell-off before we do rip up in July. That they do that because they're trying to get the last minute people who are trying to buy and before it really shoots up in July. And that's why I chose to take this trade right now. So, and it's end of the day and all that, you know, so we'll see how it pans out. But anyways, let's move forward so I can make this video short. Again, new highs here. That was expected. I talked about that. This is Dow. We have bodies now on that gap that I have drawn. And today will be this ceiling of that. And then we're just getting into this imbalance. I didn't draw it. I'm not going to mark up everything, but very clear that we're going inside there. And What else? Let's move forward because there's nothing else to really say. Just a beautiful day, dude. You're not looking for big retracements. You're looking for a birdie day in a way because it's expanding. But now we are reaching sort of like a top in a sense. RSI here. There's some things I missed. I forgot to mention yesterday. I'll try to remember it now and say it. But what is this? This is S&P. Yep. So got into that imbalance there. Don't worry about all these gaps. I don't need them. I'm not using them. It's just because I put the new chart and I haven't took them off. But don't need any of these, to be honest with you. But this, let me see if I could just draw this real quick. Oh boy. And I really want to make this video short. So 1 second here. All right. And let me kind of go real quick just to see if there's a gap in that. Yes, there is a gap. So I have to include the gap. All right. And yeah. So now if I go to a smaller time frame, even if you quadded that, you can tell 50% is sitting right here of the low in the middle here. It's kind of where we're dancing at here for S&P. Again, I don't have it quad. I don't need to mark it all up, but just pushing up, man. And then yeah, what was I gonna say? What was I forgetting yesterday? Yeah, now I forgot. What was it? Well, by the way, we also had a nice oh my god, why does she want to call every time? 1 second. Let me push pause. Now I almost completely forgot what I was talking about. Wife's talking about a lot of stuff here. So real quick, yesterday, oh yeah, this was what I wanted to say. So yesterday, this was explaining, yeah, man. Here, this little imbalance right here on the hourly. This is how that final push down happened. Oh my god, right there. See that? See that right there? All right, let me go to it real quick. There was something else I forgot to mention too. See that right here? I talked about this as a breakout area yesterday. You remember that? But it was also just dipping in. Remember this conversation? Yeah, when we dipped into that 15-minute imbalance, that bullish one, use it as an inversion. Now you see this here. That's an actual hour imbalance. Some people call this an auction or whatever, but boom, comes right into it. Look at the body sitting at there. I didn't need that. I understood it because I have the hourly chart on another screen. So anyways, so there was that, and there was something else I forgot, dude. I can't remember. I really can't remember. Oh, maybe it was this? No. Look at the close of Tuesday, sitting on the 50%, and then the open just a little bit higher. I don't know if that was what I was gonna say. I can't remember, but I remember that was one of them that I just said. All right, let me just go back to this real quick. What was I saying here? Yeah, so I've explained all this already. Reached it 2 to 2.5. We're obviously going to expect it to. I did this on the wrong screen here. All right, so we have a projection here of still from this 3.5 to look at 3.5 to 4, 3.5 to 4. So we're expecting to push up. They're going to ask, why did I get into this sell? I wanted to see if it was going to be a really big sell-off. And if it does hold here, I want to see Asia and London do this. It might be a good trade to hold. Otherwise, it's not. And the reason for that is obvious, that we're coming for that liquidity to the left of the chart. We hit the 50 here. And then this didn't come underneath. See, this should have, I would have liked to seen this come underneath and use it as resistance. That means this trade would have been starting to pan out. Obviously, as you see, it's going up. It's not panning out. But right now, I'm just gonna push this into break even. Take care of cost. And then if you're asking me where did I get involved, you'll see on the 1 minute here. I didn't draw it. Right here. Right there. So got in right here. So again, so this is a high, that's a low, that's a high, and that's possibly a break. Not saying it is. I'm just saying that that's what's the logic. Now this came from high to low. You're sitting at 50%. I wouldn't like it to come past this imbalance right there. I'll even draw it. Again, we would like to have a body here, but it could be a nice rejection before we push up in July. And this is as far as I would want it to go. Obviously, this high here, wouldn't want to break that high right there, but algorithmically, we'll see what happens. Not a big deal. All right, so nothing has changed. The same logic and the same story as yesterday. I'm going to do it again, just so I know that I said it. So if we're bullish and we get that big sell-off, you know, who knows, right? Okay, so there's a daily imbalance here that I did not draw. Let me just do it real quick, and you're going to be like, man, that's a lot of stuff on the chart now. Where are we at here? Okay. All right. So, I know, looks crazy. I know. All right. So you got the daily imbalance there. That's a breakout level. I mean, obviously, I would like for it to come into the upper quadrant. So let's just say if we get that sell off, like I was talking about before we get to push up in July, then I'd like to see it come in, you know, somewhere here. You know, somewhere in this vicinity. Maybe it just taps it. Who knows? See those equal lows right here? See these equal lows right here? Real smooth. So, you know, with a news catalyst, we can see maybe coming up. But anyways, that's really it. I mean, and if it does not come any lower, then it's just like a simple pullback, maybe just touching here. All right. And then continuing up for new highs. As far as projecting goes, do I want to do that right now? Not really. But let's do it with here. I'm going to measure. Oh, I think that's what I forgot to mention. Remember this here? So I made the video here before I left vacation. So this was 3 drives down. So 1 right there. 1, 2, 3. Right? And it's just a push up, push back down. And if I was to draw the structure, I think I wanted to draw the structure. I did not. This was kind of forming that little break for the pullback. This is the lower high. That's the lower low. That's the lower high. And that's the lower low. And then we break through here. See that? I didn't draw that yesterday. But that's the explanation of this structure. While it looks sloppy inside, that's what I was looking at. That's what I'm looking at it like. So I've already talked about the pullback here for the seasonal data. And then if it's not going to do that and we're just continuously pushing up, then yeah, it's just going to keep going like this. I don't need to say any more than that. And am I done? Let me see here. Am I done? Again, you know, this liquidity here, this is a daily imbalance here. And notice, if it's really bullish, which obviously it is, it's possible that they keep this empty. Why? Because they want to come for the highs, right? Just like I was giving you that explanation of, it was a lower time frame. Didn't I do that? Kind of like these breakaway imbalances here, and so on. So they might keep this empty and then wait till we have pushed up for new highs. before it comes back in. That's why I gave you the small pullback example. But this is just beautiful. This is a nice, beautiful range. And then I was hoping for a major sell-off where, let's just say it came to 50% or at 38 on the fib or something, then I would want to hold this for at least 200, 300, 400 points, right? With this range here. So who knows? We'll see. But when we come into the day, another thing, we're not even reaching the weekly on an oversold. We've been knocking on the daily. Here's the 1 hour. Been knocking consistently. That's why I was expecting for maybe the sell-off to come down to the oversold. And then the 4 hour, we've been knocking on the 4 hour a couple times. I wish they would go away. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. This divergence right here on the 4 hour. Look how beautiful that is. You can see it on the 1 hour too. See this? See these lows here? And then look at the divergence. Move. Right there. Son of a bitch. See the higher lows right there on the whatever? All right. And then, yeah, I think you can see it on the hour too, didn't you? Here. Not sure why they're not saying it here, but here. See this? Beautiful. But, yeah, I have now definitely said everything I want. And then NVIDIA, we'll look with the birdie candles. Just sneakily going up there. Is that even a word? All-time highs there. And then let me see here. I just feel like it's going to be some very ugly times. As far as all-time highs and all that, how do you treat that? Well, you expect it to be like any other time frame. You expect it to be kind of like in a birdie scenario where the small pullbacks are blessings, and and you keep it simple, and then look for the news outlets to inject volatility to come and wipe out breakout traders. But in this sense, let it break out. You can even involve yourself in a breakout, and then trail, and then and so on. Just like if it's a 1 minute chart, I mean, there's no difference here. It's kind of like this scenario here, pushing up. Let me give you a better example. It's kind of like here. So we made these lower highs here, and then we push up. And notice when we push up, once we clear the high, all right, then you get some retracements, right? Because they got to kind of manage themselves, and they left this open. Right, and then that's how you should treat, generally speaking, the all-time highs. So look, pretend this was the all-time high right here, and then we're breaking through here, right? And then we bounce up, and then we're using this simple support, and this is kind of like what I would expect. And then liquidity right there on that high, and that high. I don't need to mark this, do I? It's very obvious. That's this is obviously an objective. Let's change it green. Yeah, that would be obviously the first target. What's going on here? And I made a short video long. Now you're probably like, you like to talk a lot, dude, don't you? I don't, actually. I guess I kind of do. Where are we at? 20 minutes. Fuck me, dude. All right. I'm not missing anything, right? And before I go, all the majors, shooting up. I was talking about they pulled back yesterday, and then now we were pushing up. I said that yesterday. Go look at all the majors. They all have pulled back and pushed up pretty much, in a sense. But looks like they're kind of looks like Tesla's fizzling out, Apple fizzling out, Google little push up, Meta little push up, Amazon pushing up, and then obviously, as we know, NVIDIA pushing the hell up. Yeah, it looks like it's pushing up now even. Yeah. So that was a nice buy as well. Again, shooting up for this. With an all-time high, you would say, so, well, why did you sell that? Well, I just wanted to see what it would do. And it was trying to act violent. But again, they're doing this because of the fact that, in a sense, I should be buying this. They're doing this in a sense because, the FOMO people, they're all pushing buy here. They all know, they can kind of see the target clearly. And generally speaking, they'll do that before they reach a high, right? An important high. But I want to see a retracement because we were in the 2 to 2.5 and we've hit an objective. No, it has not been sealed, which is another situation where you would rather have it sealed, or then it would reject the 2 to 2.5. I wanted to see a better retracement, but it doesn't have to go deep or anything. But yeah, I'm talking too much. So I hope this was helpful. All right, you guys take care and God bless.